This week on American Horror Story.
This is not meth.
Okay, enough of that. Well, we have another episode of American Horror Story double feature, and this one is a giant flashback which asks the questions, are sunsets gay?
Do something totally gay, like watch the f***ing sunset.
Join me as we go over episode 4, Blood Buffet, its latest theories and details you missed along the way. But before you do, make sure to like and subscribe. Seriously, only 14% of you are subscribed, because I got you covered for everything AHS. The flashback begins 5 years ago in October. The chemist is looking for a quiet place to set up her lab, and we see here Dennis O'Hare's character Holden Vaughn acting as her realtor, which is interesting because in episode 3, he tells Chief Burleson that he's a famous interior designer. So it's likely somewhere in this 5-year period, Holden takes the black pill and pursues his dream of becoming a famous interior designer, becoming rich along the way. He tells Burleson he owns an apartment in New York, and the only reason he's up in P-Town in present day is one of his greyhounds, which we'll later see 2 of in this episode, passed away and he can't stand being where his dog died. Holden isn't stupid and realizes this chemist with a PhD from Harvard is likely in town looking for a secluded home to cook meth. It's not meth she's cooking, it's something far more mysterious. The Mickey of 5 years ago seems pretty similar to the Mickey of today, hustling men at the Muse like Holden Vaughn who tells him to get lost. But the chemist sees a use for him. Bringing him back to her place, she sees that he could be one of her test subjects when he expresses his dreams of becoming a famous writer, something we've known from previous episodes. Well, it just so happens the chemist used to be a biochemical engineer who worked with the US military on a secret project to unlock the creative parts of the brain. Well, actually, it was to shut off those creative parts because they wanted soldiers to become mindless war machines. But in order to do that, you'd first need to figure out how that part of the brain works.
But to lock up the creative mind, we also have to understand how to unlock it.
This is our first confirmation that the chemist has ties to the US military, and with Death Valley, the second part of double feature, heavily featuring the US military, the chemist and the black pill are the strongest links we currently have that connect the two parts. In the promo material, we even see a pale creature and alien ingesting the black pill. We also don't know what exactly is in one of these pills. Could the missing ingredient be something not of this world? But then that begs the question, how has she been able to make these pills for the last 5 years without running out of this special alien ingredient? Unless, of course, she herself is not of this world. In episode 3, she tells Mickey and Belle Noire that if she were to die, the secret of the pill would die with her. We learn that the chemist was involved in testing the black pill on primates and that it stimulates the occipital lobe of the brain, the part which controls creativity. Users who take it can experience 10, 50, or even 1,000 times the function of this lobe while on the drug. The downside is that some of the apes became highly aggressive and tore the other apes limb from limb.
It's almost like the non-creative ones can tolerate their lack of talent until they're confronted with it. Then their mediocrity drives them mad.
Mickey is like, hell no, I ain't taking that drug, and the chemist offers him $50 for any test subjects he brings to her. So that night, while he's with TB Karen, he asks her if she has any talent, to which she says,
"No, I'm shit inside and out. Can I have a hit?"
So Karen's out of the mix. But when Mickey finds the man who will later become the pale creature singing, he quickly ushers him to the chemist. The fact we're never given his name have led some to believe he might be related to another character on the show, perhaps Ursula, but the evidence is still pretty thin on that one. At the local bookstore, Belle Noire does a live reading of her latest book, Martha's Cherry Tree, an erotic retelling of Martha and George Washington's relationship, which even includes a threesome with Ben Franklin. It's the perfect name for the book, as Cherry Tree has a double meaning, one of them being sexual, wink wink cherry tree, and ties into the fictitious tale that 6-year-old George Washington was caught cutting down a cherry tree by his father and famously tells him, "I cannot tell a lie." Well, the book isn't exactly a hit with the 3 people in attendance, and especially her husband Ray, who is just a gem of a man.
Your books gross me out. Do you want me to suck some cock while I'm in there? It's that you're weak and scared and boring. Now that I have to be with you all the time, it's intolerable. This marriage is over.
And I knew things weren't going to turn out well for him as soon as I saw this ring with the letter R on it. I've been looking for this ever since the preview footage showed a dismembered hand with this same ring wash ashore. After being verbally abused by her husband, Belle goes out on the town where she's approached by Mickey. The two soon hit it off and Belle gets high off meth, kicking it on the dance floor. Meanwhile, the pale man has a negative reaction to the black pill. He ironically orders a Bloody Mary before puking it out and noticing his hair falling out. Belle asks for more drugs, but Mickey offers her something better, taking her to the chemist to realize her dreams of becoming a famous writer. Belle also asks him why he doesn't take it, to which he explains,
"It's not for me. It only works for people like you. Artists."
This mentality will change over the course of 5 years when in episode 2 we see Mickey eventually take one of these pills. The chemist explains that there will be side effects, but Belle is willing to do anything and even agrees to be monitored and studied by her. That night she finishes an entire book while high off the drug. It's reminiscent of what happened to Harry when he was doing his work. Ray arrives later that morning telling his wife he spent the night with another woman and continues to berate her. This is the last straw for Belle, who smashes a wine bottle, slits his throat, and gorges off his blood. She'll later tell the chemist that it was like she could smell the blood through his skin. The pale man turns more and more into Gollum, visiting the chemist afraid of how the drug is affecting him. He says he's freezing cold and the chemist shoos him away, telling him to get a coat. We're back at Lark's shop, which was actually hinted as having a fine vintage rack in the radio promotional material.
Hot tip, that tattoo shop on Commercial Street has a truly iconic vintage rack.
So we get this great coat origin story as Lark explains there used to be a lot of gay people here, but when they left in the late 80s, they left their fashion with them. At the graveyard, which seems to be the pale man's stomping ground, he performs his first kill on an unsuspecting mourner. As a vegan, this is very surprising to him. The chemist tells him that his urge to kill is caused by two things: a lack of minerals in the body and rage. A rage fueled by the hatred he has for the world for giving him dreams that were too big. The talented pill takers have this rage too, however, for them their rage is caused by their own arrogance and certainty that they're better than everyone. The pale man's rage, however, is much darker and more intense. The chemist has to pull a gun on the pale man whose rage boils over, and it's here she exclaims that 9 out of 10 people who take the pill will turn out like him. This may explain why in episode 3 she turns down an offer from Ursula to mass distribute the pill and make millions. We still don't know the chemist's motivations with the pill. She doesn't seem to be doing it for money, doesn't seem to want to give it to everyone, and she seems genuinely interested in unlocking that creative part of the brain and not using it for 100% evil like the US military did. So this motivation is something that will likely be a big reveal later in the season. The pale man kills yet again as we fast forward 2 years, or 3 years before the events of episodes 1 to 3. Belle has permanently moved to P-Town where she goes for a trendy new look at Lark's establishment. Lark tells Belle that she's been on the pill for 6 months, her talent manifesting in tattoos. And she also tells about how she killed her ex-boyfriend on the beach. That seems to happen a lot around here. She even shows off her fang teeth, which Belle is like,
I'll have what she's having.
With her new look, Belle is ready to take on the town, taking in a local drag show featuring the best named drag queen I've ever heard of, Patty O Furniture. This is Austin Summers, who we've seen in episodes 1 to 3. Here he's a struggling playwright whose fellow drag queens constantly mock him. In fact, the only reason he's in town is one of the local theater owners promised he could put on one of his plays, a theater owner who's tragically killed by Belle Noire. Among the drag queens, we have a cameo by famous drag queen Eureka, who's appeared on several seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race. She plays Crystal Decanter. After a rousing performance by Patio, whose pearls and corset remind me of Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror, Belle offers him a black pill so that he can find
The highway to your true self.
The pill makes him convulse, and the interesting thing I found here is that we get this quick half-second flash forward clip of him snapping his fingers, wearing the same thing he wore the night he killed alongside Belle and Henry. I'm not sure if this pill can actually predict the future, or if these quick shots are visions of what their future may become. We saw similar quick flashes occur with Alma after she took the pill in episode 2, showing her performing on stage. With an insatiable urge to feed, Belle takes Austin to Crystal Decanters where the boys, or queens, are watching watching a RuPaul type show and enjoying some pizza and beer. And Belle wastes no time shooting the men and cutting one's throat so that Austin can feed while Crystal runs into the cemetery. And who loves this cemetery? Well, it's our pal the Pale Man, who makes quick work of poor Crystal Decanter. With only 2 episodes left of the first part of Double Feature, it looks like the next 2 episodes will focus back on the Gardner family. I'm still hoping that we'll get a TB Karen backstory. She and Mickey are probably my 2 favorite characters this season, and I'm hoping to come out with an episode 5 preview breakdown video later this evening, so make sure you're subscribed when that comes out. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to give the video a like, and for more bad takes, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember, Daddy loves you very much.